You enrolled in this course in Bible translation, thinking, I just want to get going, translating the Bible into my mother tongue. And now you've looked at the principles of translation, and you think, well, what's there more to do? Let me grab a pen and go and sit in my room, lock myself away, get a Bible in my that I can understand in my national language, and start translating verse by verse, word by word. Let me get it all down. But no, I think that there's a lot more to setting up a good Bible translation project. And in Barnwell's book, from chapter 10 to 20, she looks at procedures of a Bible translation project, how to set up a project and how to get going to translate methodically. And also you'll notice that there's a lot of emphasis on checking procedures to make sure that you are producing a good quality and natural, accurate and clear translation, as you've learned about in the principles of translation. So there's a 10-step procedure. And true to say, some people add more in different projects and translation organizations, but we follow this 10-step procedure quite closely in the Word for the World. And somebody said recently, the best Bible translation always starts with a very good first draft. So obviously the first draft is the key to a very good Bible translation in your language. And in order to produce this first draft, which is the first time you take a pen in hand, or you can speak the translation into a recorder, but here you need to do thorough exegesis. So before you start drafting, that's only step 2. The first step is to do excellent study of the meaning of the text. And that's what exegesis means, to get to know and understand the whole book that the author wrote, be it Gospel of Mark or maybe one of Paul's letters, but to understand what the author's original intention was, to understand the background of the book, and to really understand his heart and his desire to communicate to his audience. And what was his audience? So an exegetical workup, and as a translator, you need to almost internalize what the original author was saying. You need to think about it and then re-express it. Once you've done thorough exegesis, then you start drafting, which is re-expressing the text in your own mother tongue, doing it in a natural way, not following the original language too closely, but thinking about the meaning. So you translate meaning for meaning to come up with a natural translation. And then once you've done your first draft, you then have to supply background materials. And there's quite a big chapter on that to look at, how you're going to do an introduction to the book, as well as section headings, which are important to select to break down the whole book into different sections. And you'll translate section by section, looking at section headings. And then there are many other supplementary materials that you can add, like footnotes, cross-references, pictures, glossaries, and all this kind of thing to make that translation come alive when a person reads it or even hears it. So don't forget to look at the 10-step procedure, and the next unit 5, we'll talk more about what these steps are involved. But basically, it's doing good exegesis, step number 1, 2, making a first draft, and then 3, keyboarding or writing the translation. And you'll learn more about the Paratext program. And then supplemental helps in step 3, how to study and add good information, background information that we're talking about, to help the reader understand more clearly. That's the end of this unit.